is there we go is being able to connect more with individuals to be able to tell more stories. We feel like as we continue to go about this year, we want to make sure that we're highlighting people in the community doing really good work, but also talking about some of their struggles and most importantly, some of their wins and how they've been able to do what they've done. So we're excited to have the owner of Silhouette, Kellen James, join us this morning. My name is Jonathan Long. I'm the Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I'll say that again. I'm the Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Tulsa Regional Chamber. And I thank you all for joining us. Manning the screens this morning is our program coordinator, Tiana Garrett. Thank you, Tiana. And we're excited to have for our fireside chat, Mr. Kellen James of Silhouette. So before we jump into that, I just want to highlight something real quick. I want to say happy Black History Month to everybody out there. And then our conversation today in our diversity, equity, inclusion programming would not be possible without our wonderful benefactors, Bank of Oklahoma, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oklahoma, CF Industries, Matrix Service Company, Nordam, One Gas, One Oak, Tulsa International Airport, and Williams. I want to thank you all for your support of diversity, equity, and inclusion and the programming here at the Tulsa Regional Chamber. So with that said, we are going to jump right into our conversation with Kellen. Me and Kellen and already kind of got started talking about, hey, listen, it's hard to get two sneakerheads together and ask them to not talk about shoes, but we go talk about sneakers and we go talk about the culture and a wide variety of things this morning. So Kellen, thanks for joining us this morning.
No, man, appreciate you having me, man. This is always, like you said, putting two sneakerheads together. So it's going to be a good conversation for sure. Probably run a little long. Hopefully it'll just be, a good time, man, for sure, man, because I can talk about it all day long.
For sure. So man, I want to kind of start with you this morning with, kind of what we were talking about. Sneakers are often tied to like personal stories and memories. What's the first pair of sneakers that you ever fell in love with? And how did that kind of spark your passion for sneakers throughout your life?
Yeah, so like a lot of the sneakers that sparked passion are the ones that we couldn't get a hold of. We was just talking about that. Like as a kid, you seen a lot of stuff that you wanted that you just could not get your hands on. And that's what sparks that passion of like, one way, somehow I'm gonna find a way to get my hands on. So for me, it was like, sneakers like the Grant Hills, you know what I mean? Like when you seen Tupac, he had them on in the album cover from back in the day, like them Penny Twos. I remember like 8th grade, man, a lot of the basketball players, a lot of the guys that I hooped with, they had pennies on. I couldn't find a way to get them things. So it'll be shoes like that. Them Barry Sanders from back in the day. Like I couldn't even imagine how to get my hands on them. So like those were the kind of shoes that really sparked it. Like, man, I got to figure this out. You know what I mean?
I definitely understand. I mean, I remember several stories around those Grant Hills specifically of people trying to first get, when those first came out and trying to get those and being connected to that. We talked about that love and that culture. Obviously, well, first and foremost, checks or stripes.
Oh man, it's checks, dog. It's checks. I mean, it's too many athletes that I admired and looked up to that was repping them checks, man. It's checks all day, dog.
So we're going Nike over Adidas for the Nike over Adidas. We're gonna try not to be too much over.
No disrespect to Adidas because they've always had some heat, and what they're doing right now is crazy too. But it's been checks. I was raised that way,
Understandable for sure. Let's talk a little bit about, obviously you've got a love for sneakers, been a sneakerhead for a long time. Has it been hard transitioning from sneaker lover to the business side of the culture for you?
Man, it's a big difference. It is. Like the love that you have for sneakers don't always equate to trying to run a business with sneakers. Like, for one, I can tell you this: you might love something as a business owner. You might love a sneaker, but that don't mean that it should be in your store, like, or that it's gonna sell well just because you like it. Like, you got to understand what people that shop with you are loving, and sometimes it'll hurt your feelings because it ain't what you like. You know what I mean? So that's an example right there in and of itself. It's just one of them things that, like, I remember even so like I started working in shoes at 16 years old because my mom wasn't paying for them shoes like a lot of people. You know what I mean? So I figured out, yo, I got a job as soon as I could working with shoes. You know what I mean? And my experience with that came that, like, I didn't have to do no work. It just was like shoes would show up, you appreciate them, you love them, you talk to them. You know what I mean? You get to smell them the whole nine. It's like, man, this is crazy. Now, as an owner, you have to account for every dollar you spend. You know what I mean? Everything that comes in that store is something that you have to make a decision on. Like, so there's a big difference from having a love for it as opposed to running a business for it.
I definitely can understand that because just by the trade, we like what we like, right? But then
Hmm.
now, but you can't be the only customer your store had.
Right, exactly.
So being able to make sure that you know the needs and all of those things are important. Talking about it, what drew you to Silhouette? Like, what made you take that decision to make that leap into entrepreneurship? For those of you who don't know, Kellen's by trade is a firefighter. And
Hmm.
was a firefighter, and this opportunity came up. And what made you make that jump?
Silhouette, when I seen Silhouette was coming around, and like I said, me coming from working with the big brands, the Foot Lockers, the Foot Finish Lines, and all of those, you could tell that Silhouette was going to be something completely different. You know what I mean? It had its own identity. It was, it could do what it wanted to as a entity. You know what I mean? I knew that immediately when I seen it. When Coop started posting about it and I started seeing things about it, I said, "Oh, this is something that Tulsa needs." I knew that immediately, and so that's what drew me to Silhouette. Um, and what initially made me a fan from jump. I mean, especially like I said, coming from what I came from, I could tell the difference in what it was going to provide for the city.
So you saw that, and I know Coop was trying to move on to different other things. How hard was it for you to make that decision to say, you know what, I think we can do this? I want to move forward into this lane.
Okay, so I think for me, it was always the goal was always to try to start something for myself, right? And have my own situation going. It was never a doubt that I was going to one way find a way to make that happen. I didn't know how it was going to look though. So with me being, around Silhouette and around Coop all the time, I was always in the store, always trying to support however I could. I don't know, man. It just kind of came together like that, where the conversations between me and Coop started to change. You know what I mean? As it just like me and you were talking about, the love of sneakers. It was that, and then one day it turned into what if, or how about what if I do this, or I'm thinking about doing this with Coop. You know what I mean? So that's when the mind frame of it kind of changed for me. Like, I was going to try to do something for myself, but man, Silhouette is everything that I would want to do in the first place. You know what I mean? So it was just kind of one of those things. And the real lesson behind that, and I've said this before to people, is like, man, it would have been so easy because a lot of people have dreams that they were trying to achieve and they want to get to, and for whatever reason, life happens, and then you see that someone else is achieving that same goal that you're trying to do. And I feel like I can when that happened, when Coop uh, started Silhouette, it put me at a place where I really had to make a decision about how I wanted to go about this. Like, I could have been hateful. You know what I mean? I could have been like, "Oh man, somebody beat me to this. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna try to," you know what I mean? I'm definitely not going to support this. You know what I mean? I can do this better, so and so forth. Well, like I told you, I knew that silhouette was something that Tulsa needed, period. And as soon as I saw that, I was all about it and I wanted to support. And from that, it turned into something that I never thought would have happened like that. You know what I mean? I never planned it to happen like that. So it's really easy for people to block their own blessing when you do stuff and have a negative attitude towards anything that may happen. You know what I mean? So you always have to try to be positive about what you're doing, man, or what happens in life.
That's such wise words, man. It's wild to think that, that you in there talking to Coop, and next thing say now you running it.
Exactly.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And talking about obviously understanding what silhouette means to Tulsa, what it means to the sneaker culture here specifically. What does it mean for you and your family to now be the owners of Silhouette? Because now, it's one thing when you just going in there, you got a place, but now you responsible for it now. So what is
Yeah.
like, how does that feel? What have you been able to kind of learn through that process?
Man, I can tell you what it means to the family for sure. And it means everything, bro. Like everything. I'm born and raised here, dog. We walked up and down Greenwood. I used to get my hair cut at T's Barbershop. I ain't getting hair cut there no more, but I used to, you know what I'm saying? And my pops is the one that would take me there as a kid, you know what I mean? So he was raised around that. After I took over Silhouette, I found out my grandparents met on Greenwood at a restaurant on Greenwood. You know what I mean? Like, so for my family, bro, it's big for us to be in this position right now. It means everything. You know what I mean? And I can think about like my nephew. I got my nephew around there trying to help and doing things like that. For him to see his uncle doing something, I mean, to me, I know that feels like that's making a big impact for him about how he sees our family, how he may think about how he wants to do things. It could really change a lot of things. So for us, it's huge, man.
That's what's up, man. Because a lot of people don't quite understand that, that when you take on a business and when you are an entrepreneur, it's not just you, everybody.
Right.
Everybody is a part of that journey.
Mm-hmm.
So as we talk about that, and you talked about your family, you talked about your nephew. How do you balance your responsibilities? From father, husband, firefighter. Like, how do you handle all of this, bro?
Bro, I get up, thank God, you know what I mean, and attack the day, you know what I mean, and boy, my wonderful wife, brother, that's what I will say for sure. Nia does not play. She is very like task orientated, you know what I mean? And like everything is kind of, without her, I'd fall apart for real, man. You know what I mean? So like, it's a, it's a team effort between me, Nia, Quincy, my baby, you know what I'm saying? Like, they allow me to do the things that I'd like to do. And I do everything that I can to try to make sure that they get what they're looking for and what they are trying to accomplish. You know what I mean? So we all work together, and it just takes a lot of organization, man. And I'm not good at it. That's the truth, bro. I am not good at it. I am working at it to get better at it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's times where I miss emails that I should have been responded to days ago. You know what I mean? And it's just a daily process to try to get better. But the goal is to try to be organized as much as possible and do your best. I mean, that's really I just try my best every day. It ain't easy and it don't always work out, but I do my best.
Man, I definitely understand, trying to find those spaces to where, we're really good at, and then trying to find help in those other places and being
Right.
willing to take that help.
Right.
A lot of times we feel like we got to be good at we got to be great at everything,
Yeah.
and oftentimes we're good at nothing when we're trying to be great at everything. So
Hmm. Yeah, that's
being
real.
able to recognize that is
The
important.
thing about it too is that like you have to be intentional about your time. You know what I mean? Like there are times where I'm trying to do something for the shop and I have to stop and make sure I go and spend time with Quincy. We go do something or spend time with Nia. We go plan a date or whatever, you know what I mean? And then when I'm at the fire station, bro, there's so much that goes on at that place that you really do have to try to stay focused on what's going on in that time. You know what I mean? So like you have to be intentional with your time. Like while I'm at that station, I'm trying to do fire related things to try to keep me, you know what I mean, focused on, you know, what's going on. So just be intentional.
That's what's up. You know, obviously, you know, spending a lot of time. What's your go-to everyday sneaker?
Bro, I'm 40. All right. I ain't Hey, I see memes all the time about people that be buying shoes, they collect shoes, they diehard sneakerheads, and then they wear the worst trash or they wear just the most comfortable thing they can find on a daily basis. They never wear heat. There's be stuff stocked up. That's me for sure. Like I got all kind of heat, dog, and I don't wear none of it, bro. I'll be a lot of times it'll be Vomeros, dog. I will rock a Vomero, and I love them, dog. Any color, however color, I love them. That's me.
We not getting paid, but I'm gonna tell you by Nike right now. But I'm gonna tell
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I just got a pair of Vimeros,
Mm-hmm.
and I was mad. I was like, man, people had been telling me about them, but I was like,
Mm-hmm.
why was y'all gatekeeping these? Because and I
Uh-huh.
just didn't want to believe the hype.
Dog,
But
I was
man,
the same way. Same way.
most comfortable shoe I'd ever put on.
Mm-hmm. And really, it was Coop. Coop was the one that was like, I got these Vomeros. They crazy. You need to try them, so on and so forth. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I put them joints on, and now I got about 10 pair of them things, man, for real. So, yeah.
Definitely understand that. Shout out to Brandon Odom in the chat, said those Prestos. So if you
Uh-huh.
can't get some Vimeros, try some Prestos. Those will
What's
work
up,
for
dude?
you. But yeah, I mean, so it's always funny because to that point, you know, because as sneaker people, we always look down at people's feet all the time. So I
Mm-hmm.
always be like, hey, don't judge me by what you see me running errands in.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's
no,
right.
I got the heat in the house.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
know
Yep.
if I need to come out with something, I'm gonna come out with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, kind of in that vein, what's your special occasion pair? Like when if you want to stunt, like what you pull out if you want to stunt?
Okay. There's two things. One is I'll give you two. One is really some Jordan ones, but it'll be a real like exclusive, like we just talked about them, those ones that just came out. At some point, they gonna pop out. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That kind of deal. Um, but really, and this, I'm a diehard LeBron fan. All right, you know that whole thing, that Kith collection he did, dog, with Kith, with LeBron and Kith, like that whole collection. I got about three different pairs of those. And when I'm really trying to show out, I put them on.
We got some questions. I see your questions in the chat. We go get to those in a second. We got some really good questions around. Okay. Yeah, we got some really good questions in the chat we'll get to in a second. I want to kind of finish up. I know talking a little bit about, you know, understanding from your entrepreneurship journey. Like you talked about being able to, you know, you knew at some point you'd have your own thing. Like you was gonna do something, you figure it out.
Yeah,
And most people think about entrepreneurship as being a founder, right? What was it like that process of purchasing an existing business, and what ultimately was like, you know, made you comfortable with saying, you know, let's just do that instead of starting your own thing and doing that. Just say, hey, well, I think this is the route that will be successful for me.
yeah. Well, like I said, man, the big thing for me was Silhouette, and what Coop was doing was really it was everything that I thought that I would do if I was going to do this. You know what I mean? It had all of the pieces to not only from what it was doing that I aligned with, but what I thought could, and that was another big part, was what I thought could happen once I did take over, where I could take this. And I really felt like there was a lot of opportunity for me to put my own touch to it and grow it in a direction that I felt like overall would be what Silhouette has always been and what I think it could be in the future. So that was really the big point for me to say, yeah, this could be a route that I feel real comfortable with. You know what I mean? And then obviously, there's the history of being tied in with Black Wall Street and all of that. Like for somebody that's born and raised here, bro, it don't get no better. If you're a Black man, Black woman, that's a part of this culture, part of Tulsa, having a business uh, in that area in Black Wall Street on Greenwood, dog, it don't get no better. I mean, it really is like the top. You know what I mean? At least for me, I'll say.
Man, that's fantastic, man. And I feel that spirit from you. I've always felt that energy. You talk about, having a business down there, what that means to you and what that means to us as a culture. What's been your proudest moment since becoming the owner of Silhouette?
Man, the proudest moments I've had don't really have anything to do with like selling shoes, dog. Like the proudest moments I've had has been the events that we have done that have brought people to the area, to the store. Dreamland, we did that event and it was amazing, man. Just to see people come down there and have a good time. Like those are the moments that I think about. The fundraiser we did for the girls basketball team for Booker T. Those things are the things that I think about that like really, even the events that we are doing, like flight night that we started doing with the bingo and all that. That's my wife's baby right there. That's her creation. So I got to shout that out. It really is dope. Like the spirit behind it, just bringing people together to have a good time. Those are the moments that I'm most proud of for sure.
That's important, man. And, if for those of you who haven't seen, Silhouette was featured in a Black History Month video of Southwest Airlines. They had a Southwest influencer come in and she went and visited Greenwood Rising and had an opportunity to go to Fixins and then finished up over at Silhouette and got a chance to take in the store. She told me she raved about just what having something like that meant in that, not just in that area, but in Tulsa. And, because the history is great, but you also got to have the cool stuff, right? You got to have the stuff that makes people recognize that things are that progress is happening, right? So she definitely raved about being in Silhouette and the opportunity to come back and telling her friends about it. So we appreciate having a partner like Silhouette to be able to have those types of things, as we continue to talk through that.
For sure, man. That's the thing. I mean, I feel you walk through that door, it's an immediate experience. And that's always been, no matter where I go to a lot of different places. And if you like I am, when I go somewhere, I'm looking for the sneaker shop. Like, where is it at? Right. And when I go, I want it to feel like it's an experience, something that I've never seen before, something that, makes me feel good, feel like it's a good experience and something that makes me want to shop. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like Silhouette does that. As soon as you walk through the door, it's something that is different, especially when you're in Tulsa. So
For sure. Being a firefighter, what skills have you learned in that profession that have translated into owning a business?
yeah. All right. So being a firefighter, man, there's this, I don't know, well, I might not be using this term right, but this duality that goes along with being a firefighter. One is a lot of things are structured. When you come in, you check out the truck, you check out your gear, you check out your air pack, right? There's things that happen throughout the shift that is going to happen every shift, no matter what, right? And that's for a lot of different reasons, for good reasons, right? And make sure everything is good, that we try to eliminate as many variables as possible so there's not any mistakes when we really need to use something, do something, whatever it may be. I can use that in business. I have used that. You know what I'm saying? Where in the shop, when I come in, there's certain things that I'm going to do on a daily basis. You know what I mean? To make sure that we are set up for the day, for the week, for the month, right? The other side of it, that I equate to with the fire department is things can change in a matter of seconds. I could be sitting at the table having lunch 1 second, and the next minute I could be in a burning building, right? So things change that quickly, and you have to be able to adjust and be able to be in a mind frame of like things change, and you got to be ready to move with the punches. And you know what I'm saying? Like be able to bob and weave. You know what I mean? And so on that side of it, I equate with the business the same way. I could be focused or I could be doing something with the business, and then something happens that completely changes the trajectory of the day, the week, or the month. And you got to be able to roll with that. So those are the two things that I think, like with being a firefighter, that you do have to make those changes as quickly as possible. And you also need to have some type of structure. You know what I mean? So that would be the big one for sure.
Sure. And I think especially as you talk about being able to be adaptive to change, right? I think what we've seen specifically in the sneaker industry is how things have changed from, how we got shoes growing up to like the total culture of it is now. I remember, back in the days, and I don't want to date myself too much, but back in the days in high school trying to get shoes, you had to leave school early. You be running to the mall, trying to yelling at your friends. This store had this size. This store got that size.
And, and then you show back up after lunch when everybody got them on. Man. I remember that.
Yeah. When was the last time you stood in line for a release?
Literally, bro. I now listen. I hope I don't get nobody come after me, but I've been kind of spoiled in that perspective. Like I told you, bro, I started working at shoe stores at 16 at Promenade. You know what I mean? So I really didn't stand in a lot of lines, dog. I really didn't, dog. Because even like I started at 16, bro. I stayed working in shoe stores through college, right? I don't remember ever having to stand in line for shoes, bro. And to be honest with you, that most people know this, my size was already in the back. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just the way it was. So there you go. If anybody is a sneakerhead, you really don't want to stop, you don't want to be in the lines and all of that. Get you a job, dog. You know what I mean? Straight up, go over there. You know what I mean? So I don't have that experience I'm really trying to think of any situations where I had to stand in line. Like I told you, I remember, folks at high school where they would have to, leave for lunch, try to get their size, or early in the morning, miss a class, and then they show up around lunchtime. But the bread 11s, I remember it popped off like that for sure. So that's at least I got a memory of that. So.
Funny, yeah, man. The Bread 11 was like the first. That was the shoe that turned me into a sneakerhead. I was like, that was my first Jordan, the Bread 11 that I remember getting. That was just like, yeah, I got to keep doing this.
Yeah,
I can keep doing this.
Yeah,
so for sure.
Yeah, and that. But you know what? And the one that really, I think I might have been, and I might have even talked about this before. I think I was 15 or something like that. My mom's was working in the city at the time, and the cement threes, black cement threes that came out, and she took me in and got me a pair. They weren't even my size. They was too big. Didn't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that was one of those pairs that kind of really, ramped it up some more. I'd already been paying attention a lot, but that really ramped it up some more.
Oh, for sure. Cement 3 to me is the greatest sneaker of all time. Like, you're not like argue with whoever you want to argue, but
that's why you my dog, man.
That's what it is. Black Cement 3, greatest sneaker of all time.
Yeah.
For those of you can't see, you see Mars Blackman in the background. That's the greatest sneaker of all time. Talk a little bit about what's your take now on Tulsa's sneaker scene.
Tulsa's sneaker scene is diverse and, I don't know, collective as the people are, man. We got a lot of people that are paying attention to Tulsa right now. A lot of people that's coming from different places and got different styles and stuff they want to pay attention to. And bro, you see it. like in their sneakers and what they wearing and what they rocking. It's different all around. I know things have kind of changed back into like this um Y2 style with the Asics and the whole nine. And I remember that back in the day too. Like I had a pair of those Adidas man, what was those I forget the name of them, man, but they was a runner just like that. I had a couple of pair like that. That was hot back then too, and it's just coming back around. So like, it's just one of those things that like I feel Tulsa scene has got a lot of different things going on, and you'll see it in just different places and different people coming through the store. They like to rock it different ways, and I love it.
Sure. And I think, I think as sneaker culture has grown, we're starting to see sneakers pop up at different places. I mean, you're seeing them in corporate spaces,
Hmm.
you're seeing them in a wide variety. What are some of the models that you're seeing? What are some of the models that you're seeing in some of the different spaces that like customers coming in and being like, hey, I want a sneaker I can wear to work,
Hmm.
in the office. What are some of the things that you're seeing people are buying?
Well, I think the biggest thing right now to me, it seems like because the sneaker culture has been around for a while now, people are really trying to find ways to put their own touch to it, their own twist, their own vibe to it. So one is collaborations is king, bro. Like anytime you have a collaboration with people, with certain people that a lot of people know, has always been a thing. I mean, well, big now. And then the big thing that I'm getting a lot of is customs. A lot of people want to put their own kind of vibe, their own, logo, emblems, the Tulsa flag customs that Coop did back in the day. Like those are still a thing. I'm doing an order right now for those. Like I think that's kind of the thing, especially in the corporate, like in that whole space. A lot of folks want to do customs for they business or whatever that may be. And I think that's really what I see a lot of is just people wanting to put their own identity to things, and collabs is big.
For sure, and definitely shout out Customs. We over at the Chamber and at Visit Tulsa, we got a pair, and I'll tell you,
Mm.
every time we go to a conference,
Yeah,
that is the most talked about thing
yeah,
anywhere we go.
yeah.
Is what are those like? Where did you get those?
Hmm.
Man, you'll have people who are sneakerheads that'll be like, I saw you wear them, and the first thing I did was look on my phone to try to see where in the world they were, trying to figure out,
Yeah, you'll
hey, did
find
they
it.
miss something?
Right,
So
right. And that's the thing is like nowadays everybody has access to try to look up those shoes they remember from back in the day. Everybody's kind of in touch with what's going on with sneakers, right? But when you can have your own kind of flavor, your own custom, man, it definitely stands out. And I think that's what a lot of people are trying to do nowadays.
for sure, and, you're talking about standing out. Man, what are your thoughts on that Shea shoe?
Dog, I love it. I love it. That little that little touch of AI, you know what I'm saying, with the zipper, the color. I love it, dog. Especially for Converse, man. I can't really remember a time when Converse had something that really got people's attention. And right now, with Shea, being kind of at the front of everything with the NBA, maybe an MVP kind of situation going on, they had an opportunity to really do this right. You know what I'm saying? And I think they did it. It's got a good look to it. I want to put my hands on it and hopefully, see what's up. But that looks good. And I'm thinking about, especially with that silhouette, how many different colorways can come with that? How many ways they can really try to set that up? And I think it's gonna be real good. I think it's gonna be a look.
No, I think it's a perfect. You talk about collaboration. I thought it was a perfect move for him because he's a different type of player.
Hmm.
He's got a different swag about him. So
Hmm.
being able to, go to Converse and kind of do his own thing there, I think
Hmm.
I think he's gonna have some PEs that are crazy, and I
Hmm.
think that's gonna fit for exactly who he is as a player. So I'm
Bro,
excited to kind of see from that.
streetwear. I mean, these hooping shoes are starting to come. They starting to show back up on the streets, bro. I mean, them AEs, I see them on the streets a little bit. and Shy, you know what I'm saying? Like Shay, dog, like they showing back up on the streets. I think we're gonna start to see these shoes, these hooping shoes, start to get back out there again, man. Because it's been a long time since people started to wear them. You know what I mean? On some straight up fashion kind of side way, but I think it might come back around that way.
Man, for sure. You know, as we talk to that, man, what are your biggest releases of the year? What are you most looking forward to for the rest of 2025?
This one coming up, this Joe Fashion. I mean Joe Fresh. Is Joe Fresh good? Dog, I missed out on the first run, and I was sick to my stomach. You know what I'm saying? Ever since that first drop, that first release, I really was sick to my stomach, man. But I'm hoping that I can pull this off. I already, filled out the raffle, the whole nine. I got everything going with that. I'm looking for connections for some way to somebody that I know, somebody that knows somebody, dog. Like that's the biggest one. We talked about a couple ones. I like what I saw from those rare air, the 4s and the 11s. I like the way those look. Um, I don't know, man. That was the big one. I'm kind of just like I talked about, man. I'm kind of month by month. So right now, what's happening right now is kind of that Joe Fresh good though, dog. That's the one. Like I need to get my hands on it. Age well, yeah. That's B. Hey, let me tell you something about Brandon, dog. A lot of times I'll buy shoes just to try to get his attention. Like I know his size. I'll try to get a shoe and I'll be like, I'm gonna see if Brandon start asking about it. If he start asking about it, I'm like, yeah, I got some. I got some. I got some. I got some heat.
Listen, man, when you was talking about going out of town and going to stores, man, Brandon get me in trouble all the time, man. We go out somewhere, but Brandon be like, "Hey, man, it's a store," and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, let me put my card up. Let me put my card up."
Yeah, yeah.
You can't go shoot for shoot with Brandon.
Nah, man. I don't even try, man. I try not to even go down that conversation because I know he on another level. So
For sure. So, man, as we sit here and you're doing that, man, I love to see that you rocking local brands and the thing,
always,
Sauce
sure.
Hat, Dreamland. Talk about some of the collaborations you got in the store and how you use that to kind of push some of the other local entrepreneurs in the store.
Man, we carry let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 5 different brands in the store right now that are local. All the people that I know are good people, hustlers, people that want to, are really trying to do something to push the culture forward. And by culture, I mean Tulsa and what we do. You know what I mean? You talking? Let's see, I got Greenwood. I got Greenwood Ave.
Shout out to Trey.
Shout out to Trey. And Trey, man, I told Trey, man, I'm like his number one fan, bro. I love everything he does. You know what I'm saying? Like he does some serious stuff, man. And the thing about it is the quality of the stuff that he pushes out, it pushes Tulsa forward. It pushes all of us forward. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with what Dreamland and Steph is doing. The event is epic, man. Everything that he is doing right now is pushing us forward. You know what I'm saying? Lord Primo with John Stanton, dog, the way he thinks and what he's trying to accomplish is pushing us forward. That's everything that we got in their town is with Matt is dog. It's trying to push us forward and elevate what we are doing. You know what I'm saying? So like always, I'm always trying to have things in there that are local and people that are trying to push to elevate us all together. You know what I'm saying? And so like when people are trying to come in and they want to put something in the store, that's kind of what I pay attention to is how prepared are you? What do you have going? What do you wanting to put out? And is it something that you believe in? And I'll be able to tell by the way you have everything set up. So, and I'm always looking to do that. So it's just a matter of being prepared. So it's a cool deal.
So when you talk about pushing us forward, how would you describe modern day Tulsa to somebody like who has never been here? Like when you go out and you go into different sneaker shows and everything like that, and they say Tulsa, well, I don't really know a lot about Tulsa. Like, how would you describe Tulsa to them?
Man, I feel like, and I've said this a lot of times, man, Tulsa is like the little brother to the big brother, but man, we got a chip on our shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't mess with us, dog. Like we are on the verge of really about to blow up. Like we want our respect. You know, Tulsa got something to say, like Outcast, you know what I'm saying? Like uh straight up, like, and that's how I feel. Like Tulsa is, we're continually growing, and we're doing some really positive things, you know what I mean? And um I just don't think that we can be looked at like it has been in the past. You know what I'm saying? It's not that no more. You know what I mean? We passed all of that, what was, you know what I'm saying? And I think especially here, like the past 5 to 10 years, dog, we have really made some moves that have like kind of pushed us to I don't know, the next level as far as being a place where people want to be. I mean, I see it all the time in the store with just people from all over that have come this way. So I don't, you know, for whatever reason, the organizations involved in bringing attention to Tulsa has really done a great job, and I think that because of that, Tulsa is definitely uh, not as little brother as we were in the past, for sure.
For sure, man. It's funny. I was doing the speech with some people at Greenwood Rising, and I use that Outcast line like that. That's
Yeah.
big to me. I think that Tulsa has something to say,
Hmm.
and you're starting to hear the message more and more and more, and you're hearing it in different ways, which I think is extremely important because the sneakerhead story might not be the same, might not use the same language or verbiage that the visitor story tells
Hmm.
or the music scene tells, but the
Right.
story is still the same. You feel the energy, you feel the excitement, you feel the momentum. And that's something that we're excited about here at the Chamber. I know Visit Tulsa is doing a great job of sharing those things, getting people to understand and getting to think about coming to Tulsa. Because one thing that we know is if we get you here, we get you here.
Right.
And that's been something that we've been able to take advantage of, and it's been extremely exciting. And you talked about the future. You talked about where Tulsa's kind of been and where we are. What's the long-term vision for Silhouette?
To be long term. Straight up, man. Like, um, I think about a lot of different businesses, man, and that's another thing. Like you're talking about Tulsa and the way we want to evolve and grow as a city, and it's really about having that. I don't know, like just being around. You know what I'm saying? Like having businesses that just are going to be here no matter what. You know what I mean? And so, like for me, is the long term vision is for us to be a staple, to be. I mean, when you think of Tulsa, when you think of Black Wall Street, when you think of Greenwood, I want it to be you have to go to Silhouette, like period. You know what I mean? Or else you didn't really go to Tulsa. You didn't really experience Tulsa if you didn't go to Silhouette. That's the goal. You know what I mean? So that's really what I want to shoot for. In order for that to be the goal, it's just about continually growing and finding ways to grow the business and being patient. Like for me, that's tough, but that's part of it too. So
Definitely understand that. I definitely understand that. Um, what can we do to continue to support Silhouette?
man, the best way to support Silhouette is really um like we just talked about. If you get somebody that's coming from out of town, somebody that's, asking about Tulsa, you know what I'm saying? Or, what's to do? What can we do when we show up to Tulsa? Send them to Silhouette. You know what I mean? And we'll take care of the rest, man. You know what I mean? Make sure we give them a good experience. That's the best way, I think, is just really talking about it. Making sure people come through and check us out.
So unless they wear size 13, if they wear size 13, they can't.
Dog, I wear size 13 or 14, man. So like I tell people all the time, yeah, that's probably gonna be the best looking section over there, dog. Cause that's all I'll be on it. 13 and 14 all day.
Yeah, when you don't have them,
There's that
when you
problem
like
too.
you just said, when you're not putting them in the back.
Yeah. There's that problem too, for sure. But I'm gonna make sure, like I always want that section to look right because I know what it is to be a size 13 and a 14. It's hard to come across some real heat, you know what I mean? So
For sure. Man, Kellen, we appreciate you, man. We're excited to be able to have this conversation, man. Excited for the work that you're doing. And a big part of what I love about Silhouette, not only obviously just from the sneaker side, but the connection to the community. Always being able to support, being willing to, host things, being willing, to work with the community. With that being said, talk a little bit about the thing you all were able to do with Booker T.
man, I come from a hooping background, man. I hooped all my, you know, high school career and all of that good stuff. You know what I mean? So like for me, I'm already paying attention to that kind of stuff, And my wife, she graduated from Booker T, so she always wanted to try to find a way to support, where she came from the school she came from. So we kind of just put the two together, basketball and her school, and um, it was just one of those things that made like I know a lot of times the basketball program falls short to what is really big in Oklahoma is football. You know what I mean? So a lot of times there are things that these girls could use. You know what I mean? They may not need it, but they could use it. You know what I'm saying? And I really felt like that would be something that would be cool to do. And so we ran a big fundraiser for it, and people came out and supported, man, for real. I mean, like, and that was probably the best part of it was running the fundraiser and seeing how many people really wanted to support that. You know what I'm saying? And so, and those girls got to see that, how much these people, everybody, the family, the community wanted to support them. So it was a really dope situation. They got a pair of shoes that kind of had their own vibe to it, and still was in touch with the school. And it was dope, man, to be able to do that, especially for those girls. Those girls can hoop and they work hard, man. So it was dope.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, they were able to do a fundraiser and support a pair of shoes for the entire varsity girls basketball team at Booker T, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
exciting
coaches.
work. And
Yeah, man, it was
yeah,
dope for sure.
you know what I'm saying? It's, and being able to have those type of entities where, it's always good to see businesses doing well, but it's great to see businesses doing well and being able to give back. And now I think that's the heart and the culture of small business specifically is how they give back to the community and what they mean to the community in those ways. So I was happy to see that, excited to see that project go well and be supported.
Yeah, man, and I'm hoping we can continue to do stuff like that, man. I mean, however, you was asking about what the future is for Silhouette is, and that's really what it's about. If I don't do nothing else, man, it's just find ways for Silhouette to be a part of the community and do things that can help. You know what I mean? So like that's the big part. So hopefully we'll be able to keep doing stuff like that for sure.
That's exciting, man. That's exciting. Um, as we wind down here, and we kind of talked about, what Silhouette means to Black Wall Street and kind of what you've been able to do. My last question is what do you want to see from the town? As we talked about what does the next chapter of Tulsa look like to you as we continue to write the next story of what our growth looks like?
I think what I want to see is, and I've had conversations, I think with Trey and staff, Matt, just about ways for us to all kind of work together and and move together. You know what I mean? I think that would be um, a good look. You know what I'm saying? I think that would help all of us trying to do anything that um, pushes us. So like I really think that would be the next step, and what I really hope to see is for us to really all come together and I don't know, just work together as an organization in some kind of form or fashion. Um, I really hope that's the next move for what's happening around town.
Sure. I mean, I think as we continue to work together, as continue to have greater collaboration, I mean, I think that's how all of the success we've seen and momentum we've seen thus far has been because of uh, collaboration. And I know Joe Kester's on here. Joe, we gotta get us a sneaker con. I said it. We gotta get us a sneaker con. We gotta
Hey,
figure it out.
hey, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Hey, don't do that. Don't get me excited.
Stay tuned. Stay
No,
tuned.
but definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. We got a couple of questions in the chat I want to try to get to here in the next couple of minutes. One, how would you describe yourself as a sneakerhead? Or as a sneaker, I'm sorry. Like what sneaker would describe you?
Okay. All right. So the sneaker that would describe me is probably something laid back, smooth, but still popping. Like got got a lot of, you know what I mean, something to it. Like colors, suede, you know what I mean, with like burgundy and some colors, some deep kind of colors, but smooth. You know what I mean, like a New Balance, like Joe Fresh for real. That would be me in a shoe. That would be me for sure.
We, we got some people in the chat talking about, hey, we gotta get another sneaker ball. We gotta get one.
Oh, stay tuned. I'm gonna do this. Look, I'm gonna do like this. I'm gonna say stay tuned. That's it.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. We're excited for that. Well, Kellen, man, thank you for joining us. We're excited for all the things that you're doing. We appreciate you taking the time this morning in your busy schedule to have this conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I
My
mean,
pleasure.
we had a conversation in the shop that we just brought here
Yeah,
here to
real.
Zoom.
Yeah.
So I was excited we were able to do that.
That's my pleasure, brother. For real, man. I enjoy doing this, man. Like just chopping it up and talking about. I mean, these are the kind of conversations that bring things to fruition, like and make things happen. So I love it, man.
Wonderful, wonderful. We thank everybody for joining us this morning. We're excited to continue to have these types of conversations throughout the year. Excited for your support of not just the Tulsa Regional Chamber and Visit Tulsa, but all of the things that are happening here in the Tulsa region. And want to make sure that we can continue to have these types of conversations because that's the only way that we're going to be able to grow and to learn and have that space for collaboration, right?
For sure.
So again, we'd like to thank all of our sponsors for allowing us to have this space and for supporting us. Bank of Oklahoma, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oklahoma, CF Industries, Matrix Service Company, Nordam, One Gas, One Oak, Tulsa International Airport, and Williams. We invite you out for our next Mosaic, which will be Wednesday, March 19th. That'll be, weather permitting, which we be in March, so we hopefully should be warm at the Tulsa Regional Chamber. We'll let you know what that programming will be. We're excited to continue to have dynamic programming at the Chamber around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And again, we want to thank you all and thank Kellen for joining us on this cold winter morning, but excited that we're able to still have this conversation, and thank you all for your flexibility to pivot to virtual. So with that said, we want you all to enjoy your Mosaic Wednesday, and you all have a fantastic day.